Good morning. I am Theodore Roosevelt. The White House gang love to walk around the streets of Washington, D.C. The gang related to me that on one occasion during the winter, Quentin let fly a large lump of snow as they walked. As it arced through the air, a carriage suddenly interposed. There was a crash of glass. The horses, sparks striking from their shoes, were reined up, and an old lady appeared at the carriage door and put out her very indignant face. "I'm terribly sorry," Quentin explained to her. "I wasn't aiming at you at all." "I might have been seriously hurt," she snapped. "Evidently you are a very dangerous boy. I can see by looking at you that you ought to be kept off the streets. What's your name, and where do you live? You shall be made to pay for this outrage. Come here, answer me." Quentin drew himself up and replied, "I am Quentin Roosevelt, and I live in the White House, and I'll pay for your darned old window out of my allowance." "Why, you horrid little liar," cried the lady. "I have half a mind to have you arrested for that. Why, this is too much to stand. That's outrageous. Imagine a young ragtag a bobtail pretending such a thing." "These clothes I'm wearing are only my second best," Quentin explained. Dick Chew, who was only partially successful in stifling a guffaw, the outraged dowager turned upon him. "And you, young man," she said, "whom do you represent yourself to be?" Dick was instantly serious. "I am the son of Christopher Columbus," he answered with an important air. Quentin gave Dick a quick, reproachful look. But at the same instant, the gang saw a policeman rapidly heading their direction. The gang realized the lady's purpose: to hold the boys in conversation until the policeman could get his hands on Quentin. The gang clutched Quentin and started to drag him away. Quentin said, "Still, I ought not to go. I should stay and explain to the cop that it was an accident. But she deserves to have her old glass walked anyway." The policeman heard enough from the lady to cause him to call out, "Hey, come back here." And he took a step towards the gang. Then they broke and ran. Down Connecticut Avenue the gang ran, with the policeman pounding along after them to the opposite sidewalk. They were sprinting with all their strength, but the policeman was gaining. "Turn in the gate," Quentin cried. "Turn in the gate, at the end of the block, that gate, the gate." There was only one gate, that of the little front garden of the British Embassy, and they swung round into it. "Sanctuary!" Quentin cried with exultation. "Don't you dare come in here," Quentin said decisively. "And we're not coming out. You can't come in here, and you know you can't. We can because we're diplomatic guests here. My father is a great friend of the ambassador, and he said I could come and see him any time I liked, and I could bring my friends. You'll have to go to a telephone to ask permission to come in." "You're talking nonsense," said the policeman. "Tell that to Major Sylvester," Quentin suggested. "He's a great friend of mine, personally. Tell him that I broke the cab window. I did. I gave the old lady my name, and I'm going to pay for it, but I'm not going to be arrested for it. No boy should ever be arrested." Just then the main door of the embassy opened, and out came His Excellency James Bryce, Envoy Extraordinary, and Minister Plenipotentiary, and Ambassador from the British King to the United States. "Ambassador Bryce," the policeman said and saluted. "Well, well, what's all this about, eh?" the ambassador inquired. Quentin then hid behind the backs of the gang. "One of these boys just broke a carriage window with a snowball, sir," the policeman said. "And he tells me that I can't come into the embassy grounds to get him." "Well, he knows his diplomacy," Bryce said. "The lad is entirely right. You are confronted with a problem. No, most certainly you cannot touch him here. And of course you do not want me to lay violent hands upon him to eject him. You'll have to wait for him." "And you'll wait forever and ever," Quentin replied from behind the backs of the gang. Ambassador Bryce never looked at the boys. He simply marched through the gate and down Connecticut Avenue as if nothing had happened. The policeman watched the ambassador, then looked at the embassy, then turned and slowly walked down the street, scratching his head. If Bryce had seen who we were, Quentin explained to the gang, defending his disappearance. The King of England would be laughing at us tomorrow morning in Buckingham Palace. We didn't want that, did we? Gosh, Quentin added abruptly. Isn't this terrible? I didn't get that old wallaby's name, and she'll think I never intend to pay her for the window.